for coming to the first annual State of La Jolla address. My name is Steve Haskins and I'm the president of the La Jolla Town Council. We believe that bringing together various groups and civic organizations in La Jolla at the same time and at the same place provides a great opportunity for all La Jollans to get to know who these groups are, what they do, and whether you want to be involved with one or more of them. We do have quite a few groups in La Jolla. Tonight's event is the first in a series of events like this that will go on throughout this year. Tonight is focused on organizations that deal with land use and governmental matters. The next event, the State of La Jolla, will be for arts and culture. And museums, historical society, and other groups will attend that and all together and give presentations in the same way that you'll see the speakers giving presentations this evening. We'll also have one for clubs and charitable organizations like the Women's Club, Lions, and Kiwanis. And there will also be one for churches and religious organizations later on in the year. So we expect that this will be a coming together of a lot of different groups that do different things, all volunteers, all people who give their time for free for what they believe to be the betterment of our community, La Jolla. Our next speaker is a soft-spoken man that I've known for decades. In fact, he's been involved in civic organizations for decades because I remember him being on committees when I still had hair. That's a long time ago. And Dan Allen, would you please come up? Dan Allen is here.
Yes, I'm here and I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm currently finishing a second year heading La Jolla Parks and Beaches. Well, what does La Jolla Parks and Beaches do? Next slide, please. First of all, we advise the City of San Diego Park and Recreation Department. That is, we advise the city when asked for the community's opinion on issues and plans. And in fact, we're not shy about advising the city on topics that they haven't asked us for our advice. We also are soliciting public funding to implement park and beach improvements in the land. These improvement projects are done in private-public partnership with the city. And in that function, we have a number of exciting current projects about which I'll be talking. The territory of our cognizance excludes this recreation center, for which there's a separately constituted council just presented. And it also excludes the parks and beaches located in the La Jolla Shores Planned District. Now, La Jolla Parks and Beach membership is open to all. One needs only to attend 3 meetings in a row to qualify. However, total membership is limited to 20 members, so at times we've had a short member waiting list. But don't be discouraged. Please come if you can to one of our meetings. 3 if you can. Next slide, please. La Jolla Parks and Beaches, since the beginning of time, was a committee of this La Jolla Town Council. But a few years ago, in order to be officially recognized as an advisory body to the city, La Jolla Parks and Beaches had to be reconstituted and separated. It was important also to meet our function in park and beach improvements to incorporate as an entity that could accept tax-deductible donations, and we did that in 2011 and have been accepted under IRS regulation 501c3. So what issues did we leave behind in 2014 and what will be new in 2015? Next slide. 2014 was the year that the curtain appears to have closed on the decade-long controversy over the seals of the children's pool. The Coastal Commission in August and the San Diego City Council in February approved the seasonal public exclusion from the children's pool beach. Now there are some lawsuits apparently going on, but whatever occurs there is beyond our purview. We will now observe how the Park and Recreation Department and the lifeguards carry on in their new capacity as managers of a marine mammal park in the same place and time as a public swimming beach. These 7 months of the joint heated seal access is allowed. Number 2, the internationally known La Jolla stench and the harbor seals. The stench on the children's pool harbor seals are definitely related phenomena. The stench is a park and beaches issue to the extent that it's generally acknowledged to be caused by sea lions, pelicans, and cormorants residing in large numbers above the shoreline of La Jolla Cove, and that's city land under the responsibility of the Park and Recreation Department. Now, La Jolla shoreline has always had seals, sea lions, pelicans, and cormorants, but what seems to have happened in recent years is a population explosion of them. And so what we ask to be done is for the government to hire experts to explain what is going on and give the public a prognosis. Is this all permanent? If not, how long will it last? And as well to offer feasible solutions that can be taken, if any, to mitigate the obvious social and environmental impacts. Number 3, Elm Browning Scripps Park is La Jolla's first park, laid out in subdivision map of 1887, with which I'm sure you're all familiar. And in a way, it is our town commons. It's the site for many official special events throughout the year, and innumerable unofficial events, altogether bringing probably hundreds of thousands of visitors to the park. The need for park improvements there has been recognized and was addressed in the 2010 plan prepared by the community. And the question is, does Scripps Park need more attentive management? This year we want to review the various intense and exclusive uses to evaluate their impacts and to optimize public access. Next, general city park maintenance. Well, city park maintenance has been budgeted less money in recent years, all as a consequence of the lower city revenues owing to the economic recession. City Park and Recreation had sunk to passing the hat, asking community groups to pay for fertilizer for their parks. Well, yay, now the recession is over, as the experts say. So sure enough, there's more money coming in. We need to bring park maintenance staffing and operating budgets back to the levels we had enjoyed in earlier years. And that won't happen without advocacy on the part of the community. That's definitely an issue for 2015. One other issue that will come up is protection of our open space parks. Soledad Mountain Park and La Jolla Heights Natural Park. These are the large spaces home to indigenous plants and refuge to varieties of wildlife right here in La Jolla, and they form the greenish hilltops we see looking back from the village. These parcels of public land and other lands are subject to all sorts of proposed intrusions, such projects as new power lines, water and sewer utility lines, reservoirs, city cell phone towers, and unplanned trails. In the new year, La Jolla Parks and Beaches should be more diligent in overseeing these undeveloped parklands here in La Jolla. So much for issues and problems. Next slide, please. La Jolla Parks and Beaches is working on 4 main projects, which I'm going to tell you about. Wincansea S-Curve, Sidewalk at Children's School, Scripps Park Pavilion, and Whaleview Point Shoreline Enhancement. Next slide, please. The Wincansea shoreline was approved beginning about 15 years ago, and I'm sure you all who frequent the area admire the walkway and amenities that are shown in the background of the slide. Let me get this through. Bit better. Never mind. The job was really never finished because the sidewalk and fencing shown in the foreground of this picture still need renovation long enough to be replaced. With funds donated from the community, we have now a complete design. That design was submitted to the city for permits last year, and frustratingly, the approval process ate up a big piece of the money we had reserved for the improvements. Now we're back to fundraising mode, and I call longtime La Jolla Parks and Beaches member Melinda Merriweather and Debbie DeBeachin as the co-champions of this project, since they are our Coastal Access Committee co-chairpersons. Next slide, please. Most all of you know that several years ago when plans were put forth by the City Lifeguard Service for the new lifeguard station that is slowly being constructed next to Children's Pool, it's sited by the red rectangle shown in this slide. La Jolla Parks and Beaches member Phyllis Minnick took upon herself the task of assuring that the shoreline walk along the site would be restored in the style of a sidewalk on either end. That is, with the landscape features such as cobbled seating walls and planters that are appropriate to the site, and in the style seen along Coast Boulevard extending from Scripps Park. In fact, that style was developed following a 1989 preliminary coastal plan that was created by the La Jolla Town Council. That effort, the whole effort has evolved into our #1 project titled the Sidewalk Beautification at Children's Pool. And here are shown some illustrations from local landscape architects working with us, Jim Neary. We hope to have the design essentially complete and permitted soon, ready for city to proceed with the construction when the new lifeguard station is done. This project is also a public-private partnership with La Jolla Parks and Beaches, raising the money and funding the design and permitting, with the city budgeting the construction using development impact funds. That project seems quite secure. Next slide, please. The following project is the La Jolla Cove Pavilion. It's a new project this year for La Jolla Parks and Beaches, although replacement of the restroom and shower facilities at Scripps Park has been on the Park and Rec unfunded list for years. If you have occasion to use the comfort station there, you've seen the physical deterioration of the structure, both inside and out. Between 2001 and 2010, there was the concentrated La Jolla community effort to examine Scripps Park, and following public workshops and input from professional park planners to write a plan for management and improvement of the park. One manifestation is the reconstruction of the Cove Lifeguard Tower and environments that are going on right now. Another recommendation on the plan has been to replace and relocate the comfort station, in particular to have the facility function better, also to open up views from the main section of the park. As you can see the present restroom structure in this picture, and the aerial photo, sort of blocks off the main section of the park from the swimming and diving access area. La Jolla Parks and Beaches is funding a schematic design, having selected Safdie Rabin as architects, who most of you may know, probably know from their Scripps Forum at Isle Beach on La Jolla Shores that opened a year or so ago. The pavilion design is ongoing. We have our second occasion to review it at this month's regular meeting, the fourth Monday of the month, January 26th, here at the Rec Center at 4 p.m. if you want to see the latest. City Park and Recreation Board just in November prioritized funding of $250,000 for the completion of the design and up to $700,000 for construction from a San Diego Regional Park Development Fund that will have funds available to proceed with the project in 2018. And so for the new year, we hope to see this project progress. Credit for accelerating this project last year from essentially zero to full speed goes to Parks and Beaches member Judy Halter, whom we identified as a project champion. She and Patrick Ahern are co-chairs of our pavilion committee, and Patrick was my predecessor as president. He has led the Scripps Park plan implementation effort over the years. He gets co-billing as a champion for the pavilion, but I also personally thank Patrick for all he's been doing. When I accepted the assignment to head Parks and Beaches, I told him I was no good at fundraising, and he's filled in marvelously where I'm lacking in that skill. Okay, next slide. Whaleview Shoreline. That's known by several alternate names to you. It's part of the coastal stretch, including Coast Boulevard, called sometimes Coast Boulevard Park, Cuvier Park, Nicholson Point Park. And it's in its location at a well-used wedding bowl and a climbing wall behind the Museum of Contemporary Art, which of course the museum site was Beverly Brown, site of Beverly Brown's Scripps' original home. Recognizing the wear and tear on the lawn, the paths, the bluff erosion, and makeshift trails to the beach, the La Jolla Conservancy funded in 2012 a plan for Whaleview Point shoreline enhancement. And last year, we adopted the plan for implementation. Our member Ann Hines is champion for this project, and she and her committee have just been getting started this past year. First steps are fundraising and detailing the specifics such as appropriate plants and materials and the present obstacle of getting permits. Some of the tasks to be done in the park can be done by volunteers, and some will require professional landscaping, for which we need money. The City Park and Rec staff supports this effort and has suggested funding avenues, although nothing is yet budgeted. The local landscape design firms who have worked on this site with us are Spurlock Poirier, who did the Coastal Conservancy Master Plan, and Great Ecology, who have been looking at the details of the two ends of the park. On the right of the picture, on the left of the picture was the area of the climbing wall, and at the right end of the picture, the area vegetated with saltbush at the south end and leaves a storm drain there. So as you know, now what La Jolla Parks and Beaches hopes to do in 2015. Lastly, I need to express gratitude to those who have donated funds to our current projects. Last slide. On this slide, I listed La Jolla community heroes who supported us. First listed are community organizations that helped with cash donations, most of these at the La Jolla Cove Pavilion. Then I specifically recognized two individuals who have come forth with large donations, specifically for the sidewalk beautification and children's pool. And we owed that to Sherry Light from her office for creating the projects into the city budget process. And last but not least, we appreciate the efforts of city staff to work with us, particularly in helping us find further funding opportunities. And the last slide, there, that's our website. We gladly accept donations by credit card of any amount. And I'm finished, thank you.